case your cell phone doesn't have radio facility, then you may collect radio sets from the guest translation desk near LED screen in 10 section. यह सत्संग का हिंदी अनुवाद आप अपने मोबाइल के रेडियो फ्रीक्वेंसी 100 पर सुन सकते हैं। यदि आपके मोबाइल में रेडियो की सुविधा ना हो तो आप अयोग्य और LED स्क्रीन के पास रेडियो सेट्स पा सकते हैं। सत्संग का धीमा रेडियो फ्रीक्वेंसी 107 पर सामने कर सकते हैं।
Good morning for everyone in India. This is good evening for everybody in India. The evening session is starting at for the Parishon Parayan of Aptavani 13. This is day 3 of Parayan of Aptavani 13, and it is the evening set to begin. So this is the Parishon Parayan on the 12th of September 2015, evening session number 1, just before the break. And we will be reading about the Prakruti. For those who are with this particular group of translations, we are following the book on Prakruti by Gnani Purush Dadashri, the Prakruti PDF, the iBook version, and we will be starting on page which begins page 64 of the 399 pages book of the Prakruti. As we see our Gnani approach our Lord Simandar, Namo Arihantanam, and we'll be beginning with the heading of relation between Swasatta and Parsatta, Namo Vitragai, and to the Gnani Lord Krishna, who gave the world the exact science of separation of the Prakruti from the Purush, or the other way around, the exact science of the Purush and the Prakruti. And Om Namah Shivaya, my namaskars to everybody who represents the embodiment of salvation of everyone or anyone in this entire universe. And to our Gnani Purush Dadashri, O Vitrak Paramatma, our highest namaskars to you. At your feet, Sucharanoma, Param Namaskar. Walking over to the left of the stage where we have Ma Amba, the energy that represents Sahajta of the Prakruti, naturalness of Prakruti. Ma, O Ma Amba, grant me the energy to make this Prakruti absolutely Sahaj. And to Ma Niruma, who is the reason why we have this book of Prakruti, Aptavani 13, which is essentially the first major section of Aptavani 13, volume 1, which has been compiled together in the general heading of the book as titled as Prakruti. Highest namaskars to you, Niruma, and a beautiful flower just came off as a grace from the Gnani, and the Gnani noticed it. When a flower that is offered, it falls, it means it is coming symbolically from them only, and from Padmavati Devi, representing the energy that prevents that any obstructions for the one on the path of liberation as the Gnani walks over. And we have tens of thousands of people here. Eagerly waiting to join the Parayan. They have all come, and many are sleeping in the tents around this Dada hall. Specially built tents which are comfortable with all the basic necessities there. It's the rainy, hot summer season right now in Simandar city, India. We don't need air conditioning. Rain sometimes is welcome. Yesterday there was beautiful Samaik. The last session yesterday evening was a fantastic Samaik on the recognition of the Prakruti, and in this specific Prakruti, the Mani Prakruti, the Prakruti that is proud, greedy Prakruti, Lobhi Prakruti, Vikari Prakruti, sexual Prakruti, Prakruti that is willful, that wants to have it her way only, or the varieties of Prakrutis that exists in all of this. The deceitful Prakruti, otherwise known as the Mohi Prakruti, which immediately comes under the illusion of anything that appears attractive as hello. Jai Sachidanand, the awareness of the eternal is bliss. I bow to the absolute self, Paramatma, who resides within you, with extreme devotion and deep oneness, deep sense of oneness. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Jai Sachidanand. Now let us read further. And heading, page 15, the relationship between Swasatta and Parsatta. Now, if one understands this Parsatta, the authority of the non-self, and then does not interfere in that Parsatta for the one lifetime, then that Parsatta itself will let go of him and he will become free. That is all. One interferes in the Parsatta, and that is why the Satta, the authority, holds on to him. Interfere uh, people interfere in this authority. One says, I did it. He does not have the energy to go even the toilet also. I gathered some foreign doctors and I told them this and they became uncomfortable. Then I told them, you will realize it when your own energy is not there, when you are constipated. Questioner, is it Prakruti? It is Prakrutik Shakti, energy of the non-self. Yes, that is it. Nature is what drives everything. Prakruti makes one walk and he claims I walked. Questioner, is the authority of the Prakruti independent of the authority of the self, or is it dependent on the self? Dadashri says the authority of Prakriti is completely separate from the authority of the S capital self. Only the presence of the self is necessary. The self does not do anything. Everything will run if there is the presence of the self. It is not dependent on the self. It is all it needs is the presence of the self. There is nothing if there isn't the presence of the self. Questioner, does that mean that the Prakriti can do akraman or invade with aggression against me, towards me? Can Prakriti do aggression towards the small SALF? Tadashi says it has. These people look the way they do because of the aggression by their Prakruti towards the S capital self. Despite being God, one looks like this. One becomes angry, one becomes greedy, one becomes deceitful under the illusory attachment, mohi, and one becomes cunning and deceitful. And this is the biggest mistake that needs to be taken care of. This is the big mistake that needs to be taken care of, you see. See? This last word, cunning, is intensely greedy. So, in other words, therefore, Vyavasta Shakti is giving this energy. Vyavasta Shakti is getting taking care of everything. We are the pure soul and we are the pure souls, and we have to remain as the overseer only. For one lifetime, if we do not enter into the domain and the authority of the Prakriti, then we will become absolutely free. This is the Purusharth we need to do this. We do not need to improve the Prakriti. We do not need to do any kind of improvement. We do not want to do any kind of rag dvesh with the Prakriti. Rag, attachment, dvesh, abhorrence with the Prakriti. For one lifetime, can you remain separate from the Prakriti? Yeah, we want to stop three interferences. I am this, I did this, and this is mine. I am this, I did this, and this is mine. You see, we need to stop these three interferences. You see, I am this, I am doing this, and this is mine. And if you want to open up the account in a bank, and then you will have to open a signature, you see. No. And so if you want to, if you have a locker in the bank, it's a safe deposit, you have to go there and close your locker box. Otherwise, they will continue to send you the bill for the safe deposit box, you see. And therefore, you have to say, no, this is no longer mine. This safe deposit box is no longer mine. I'm not this. I didn't do this anymore. I'm not doing this. Prakruti is doing it. This is all. And what, whether it is a sticky Prakruti or simple Prakruti, whether it is crooked or straight, whether it is good Prakriti or bad, it is all Prakriti and it will come to its natural resolution. Prakriti is independent at the time of liberation. Questioner, now if Prakriti wants to do something, it has to take permission of the self, does it not? Dadashri says, no. Prakriti means that whatever bhav, inner intent and view, the worldly self, Vyavaratma, simple answers have given, very beautiful answers, A simple. Dadashri says, no, Prakriti means whatever bhav, inner view, with the worldly self, the Vyavaratma made, whatever kind of interference was done in the last life, such will be the Prakriti form, charge. Then at that time of the discharge, the worldly self does not like the discharge, but nonetheless, Prakriti will become free and discharge only according to his own nature. The self does not like that at the time. Anger against you arose within me, but I do not like that, you see. I'm stealing, I'm lying, I am doing the wrong things, all of this is all fills talk of the Prakriti only, see. And if it happens to burn somebody or hurt somebody, then you know what exactly to do. Remain separate and make him do pratikraman. It is the kind of vow and the interference that you did in the previous life, that is the into that then it, then it will unfold according to uh, it will unfold according to the bhav or the view or the intent in which it was made, and at that time you may or may not like it. It is not at the time of discharge, because the situation change. Supposing you cannot have it your way, then there is the desire, the Prakriti wants to do it my way only, then. But you see that it will not stop, because that is how you had bound it in a previous life. Question, or the anger that expresses, is it the Prakriti that does the anger? The other she says, what is visible anger is not anger. I go to the seed, to its main root, and see where its starting point is. So at the starting point, one creates interference of anger with his Prakriti, with this Prakriti, and with whatever kind of bhav he does, the main Prakriti is verily formed with such bhav. Then that Prakriti discharges through its nature, Swabhav, Prakriti Swabhav. And at that time, the self does not like it. But what can the poor Prakriti do? Therefore, as long as there is a mistake in one's understanding, the Prakriti will cause pain. Initially, there is the first interference, you see. If I can't have it my way, then I will do it. I will become willful, and if I become willful, then I will. If I'm Chandu, I want to have it my way, then I will do the interference that I'm going to have it my way only. You see, through either anger or through deceit, and so the causal Prakriti is bound. And in the next life, the there will be then anger reaction with the other person, because the Prakriti is now discharging with anger. And at that time, you will not like it. Why is it happening? Why is it happening like that? It is not the fault of the Prakriti. And even if you are repentant, then you cannot do anything. And in the ignorance, he'll say, why am I doing this? Why this is happening? Why is this? How can I get out of this? So therefore, in ignorance, there is the subatomic particles of Dvesh get bound again. You see, and because he is doing it, again in discharge, he says, I am this, I am doing it, and this is mine, this is happening to me. And so this goes on life after life. The view and the intent, the way the Prakriti has been bound, that is how the view and the intent, the Prakriti will unfold in discharge. it will come out, and it will come out in discharge. You see, the way, if supposing you become very angry with heavy intensity, it will come out in discharge in the same way. You know, if you hit somebody lightly versus if you hit somebody with a heavy jab, heavy, see, you know, and supposing you hit somebody very heavily, but there is, you love that person, even if he hits you very hardly, because he's your friend, you wouldn't mind it. But if you have, if somebody is not your friend, if he hits you, then the same intensity jab, you will feel that you will be angry with him. So, and so then the answer is become the one with love, and then when you try to hit somebody, it will not hurt the other person as much. The underlying intent, there is the bhav, is the life power. If the life power is of love, then it doesn't hurt. If the life power is of hatred, then it hurts. You see, when Dada used to hit others with his shoes, would you have any pain? Dada would hit it so hard, on your back. Now, supposing when somebody else hits you with his shoe, it will hurt. Dada would hit others with his shoe when he went down in front of him on the back, because that back is considered, the low back is considered the seat of the ego, and he was trying to get rid of the ego of the other person, but it wouldn't hurt the person who received it. See? Yeah. But now, next one. Both behave according to their nature. Questioner, Prakruti and Gnan keeps increasing. Therefore, as long as there is a mistake in one's understanding, the Prakriti will cause pain. Otherwise, the Prakriti itself has not come to give either pain or pleasure. You see? And there is, Prakriti has not arisen to give you either pain or pleasure. It is just doing its own thing. It was bound that way, now it is unfolding in this way. That is all. If I you see, I wore the wrong pajama that was not ironed properly, and I said, well, no, the pajama that was not ironed is not giving me the pain, but my sense that, I have worn the wrong pajama, that is what giving me the page. You see, so therefore, the pajama neither gives me pain nor pleasure. It is I have to have it nicely ironed. That is where the problem is. You see, that is, and this I am this. I want it like this. This is mine. I'm doing it. You see. Both behave according to their nature. Questioner, Prakruti and Gnan. Gnan keeps increasing day by day, and Prakruti works too. Prakruti works for a Gnani, and it works for the Agnani, the one who does not have self-realization too. Now explain to us, how can Gnan conquer Prakruti? G capital Gnan. Dadashri says, Gnan does not conquer Prakruti. Prakruti remains within its intrinsic nature. Gnan remains in its intrinsic nature. The self remains in its intrinsic nature. Prakruti remains in its nature. In S capital, in all the activity kriya of the Prakriti, the illusion of I am doing is broken. Then one comes into Swabhavik kriya, the seeing and knowing the natural activity of the self. Then one comes into the and then Swabhavik kriya, which is the Gnata Drashta, the seeing and the knowing activity of the S capital self, of the soul. Then so Prakriti remains in its kriya, and the self remains in its kriya. Kriya means activity. The activity of the soul is knowing and seeing and knowing. If one is in Gnan Swabhav, knowing and seeing, then nothing happens to the self as capital. Prakriti can do its positive and negative worldly interactions, it will do depending on how it was bound. So therefore, I am this Prakriti, I am doing this, and this is mine, all goes away and belongs and is gone, because that is the reason why there is suffering and pain. Now, if Swabhavik bhav and Swabhavik kriya, what is the activity? Is one and the same. Swabhavik kriya is the same. Swabhavik means of the self. Activity, that is Gnan kriya and Darshan kriya. Swabhavik bhav and Swabhavik view activity is the same. It's the same. On page 15. If one can understand Parsata and can move away from the Per means the non-self, the authority of the non-self, and then moves into the authority of the self only. I see. It is not our hand also. Supposing we don't put our hand inside, it is not our hand at all. We don't have a hand. If we do not enter and put our hand, it is not our hand at all. So why should we worry about it? Is Vyavasthit is one way, one is convinced. Absolute says Vyavasthit is the doer, I am pure soul, and Vyavasthit is the karta, is the doer. Yes, it is totally It is totally stopped. It is. Has it not totally stopped? Yes, it has totally stopped, and therefore it is only now charitra moha, the discharging illusion that I am doing it or this is mine remains. However, it is no, you are not the actual doer. And you see, now, after the Gnanvidhi, you have exactly separated from the Prakruti. And there is a 2% experience of that, which is the 2% of exact separation from the Prakruti, the non-self complex. You see. It doesn't really matter whether this is a shop of Prakruti, if they can compliment the Prakruti of Sanjay or they can criticize the Prakruti of Sanjay. What does it matter to you? You are the pure soul only. And the more you come into this exact understanding, the more you will be in the bliss of the self. And your interference is because of the past life, or is because of the habits, or is because of the lack of awareness, ajagruti. It may not break today. The ajagruti may not, this tendency to kind of enter into the Prakruti may not stop today, but at least after 2 years it will stop, will it not? You talked about the Prakruti of Lord Krishna as well of Tirthankar Prakrutis. What else is remaining? Even Tirthankar's Prakruti. Yeah, they have the four Ghati Karma, you see. They had until the Sayogi Kevri. They also have the Nam, Gotra, Ayush and Karma. The four Dravya Karma are there. You see, they have the speech, Deshna, and somebody might ask them questions. So they have all of those. So those agati karma, that which cannot be destroyed, that still remain. The karma of the body, the karma of the name, fame, the karma of shata, and the karma of ayushya or the lifespan still remain even for the Tirthankars, you see. And that is called sayogi kevdi. In other words, there is the union of the mind, speech, and body still there, you see. Oh, who makes the decision for them? The decision for the Tirthankar is made by the Devs and the Devis, the celestial beings only. Their mind, speech, and body is discharging. They don't have any self in it. And then yesterday you talked about the four tattvas. You see, of the motion, inertia, and then the space and time. They are vitrag. You see, they are natural. They remain in their own space, in their own locations. Not a physical location, but these other two, the self and the matter, they undergo transformation or change due to the extra vibhavic intake, which is the ego that arises. Ego makes it appear different, and ego makes it avyavasthit or changes it. You see. And so avastha, the situation arises, you see. The situation of the suffering self arises, you see. Avastha. The vibhav means, it depends, it will help you. So these are all helpful tattvas, the emotion, energy, time and space. If you are in vibhav, they will help you in vibhav, in the non-self. If you are in swabhav, they will help you in swabhav only. So the char parmanu and discharge parmanus, they help you. You see, the other four, they help you discharge it. You see, when you remain as a self, when you become swabhavik, when you enter into the S capital self, the other elements, they help you discharge it. You see, on page 12 or 13, I am Chandulal is the sufferer of the Prakruti. You see, then who is the doer? The karta becomes the doer. The doer becomes the sufferer of the Prakriti. That is all. Okay. In ignorance, that is one believes that I am this, I am doing this, and this is mine. That is the state of the ignorance. And so one carries forward one's own, right? He is the doer, and then he is the sufferer in ignorance. And we do not have the bhokta bhava at all. We do not have the suffering nature at all, but we do not even have the bhava of the doership anymore after we awaken in the Gnan Vidhi, you see, because we have exactly separated from the Prakriti by the experience of 2%. 2% is more than enough for the separation. You are separated. When we had all this set exactly, when your interference stop, it will all set. When you stop interfering your Prakriti with I am this, I am doing this, and this is mine, then it will stop. Supposing your knee is hurting, what is, oh, my knee, oh, it is so painful. Oh, when it is very hot outside, oh, it is so hot in the outside. My body feels so much hot. My body has become so hot. You see? You see, if the body becomes hot, why don't you drink two liters of water? It will automatically cool down the Prakruti. See? Now, this part, temperature, external and ambient temperatures are being mentioned because in Parayan there is a lot of heat going on right now in Ahmedabad, along humid heat. And yes, but we take it upon ourselves, and therefore we cannot really stand it. You see, if you do not get involved, then you won't get disturbed. You see, if you don't get involved in the Prakriti, then you won't get disturbed by the Prakriti. When you say, "Whoa, it is happening to me," yeah, see, all right, or why don't you give some, whatever medicine you need, maybe apply some onion juice, and you'll feel better. You see, oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't talk to me now. I don't know exactly. Why should you become emotional? You see, you should not become emotional in that which is happening. Whatever may be the paristhiti, specific situation, or whatever may be the growth situation, circumstantial, conditioned responses, you should not be involved in it. Some other people may be reacting. You really need to be very, yeah. We do we not really make the responses of our Prakruti is in the Parsatta, you see, and in the under the why should you enter Parsatta itself? It is in the domain of the non-self, and let it run it on its own. You don't need to enter into it at all. You see, in an infinite, you have only 1/4 of your life left now, so you just need to improve that. Stop interfering. And in countless previous infinite lives, you have been interfering. Can you stop interfering in this last remaining quarter of your life? If if somebody spills red ink on your white shirt, are you going to fight him? At the most, are you going to fight with him? No, you go home and wash it off. That's all you can do. It is the shirt of the if somebody slaps this neighbor, which is file one, what are you going to do? You have to ask for the energy for pratikraman. You don't hit back, or you do not. It is really you're separate. You're separate from the prakriti, really, and you can experience that. It is totally, and you can have this worldly interaction as if it is your neighbor only. This samiks will help you a lot. This samiks that we are doing, it will help you a lot. Our jagruti will increase tremendously in all of these samiks, you see, and you will get tremendous energies of separation if you do the samiks. We've already had, say, 6 samiks today, and today will be the 7th one. Both behave according to their nature, you see. Question, Prakruti. Question, freedom and dependency to Prakruti is the heading. Question, please explain what the agent is between the two. There is no agent in the middle. The agent you believe is the agent of Prakruti, and it has all the control, not you. You have just latched onto it, and you believe that there is some external agent. Does it say to? What does it say to that? You are the external agent. You do not have anything to do there. You keep seeing what is going. Like, what do we do as a Gnani Purush? Whole day we keep saying, supposing the thought will come, oh, I want to drink some water. And the chit will go over there, oh, there is water over there. And the intellect will say, no, I can't go because it look bad because, and then there's a break, oh, now I can rush towards, okay. And then the ego is the agent and it will say, okay, and ego is the agent. And then the antakaran is the agent. There is the internal agent of mind, intellect, chit, and ego, and the external agent is the external body activities of the prakriti. Is we know that the body is thirsty, and therefore we don't need to really do any kind of interference. We remain separate, and we don't need to interfere. We need to, what do? We whole day we keep seeing what M. Patel eats, drinks, how many times he threw up. We keep seeing all that. That is all the authority we have. We don't have any other authority. Question, questioner. And as Gnani, what do? We continue to see the Gnani separately, and uh, this is what he is teaching us. He says, if you do this, you too will become a Gnani. Now, supposing there is there is normal activity where there is not much interference going on, and then you can say, oh, this belongs to file one, and therefore it is not I. You see, and so he says, so whatever is happening, you just be the observer of all of that. And If supposing you want to choose shirts from your cabinets and closet, you're continuously, the ego of the Prakruti, the ego that belongs to the Prakruti is constantly choosing its own shirt or its own pant. You see, when the food comes, you say, I'm not going to touch it, I'm going to touch this food first. Automatically, then it is activity. Automatically, he is choosing which food to put in the mouth. Why do you think that you have to do the choosing of what food goes into your mouth? You see? What do is the questioner? Is Prakruti not a part of the body? Dadashri says this body, mind, speech, and body, all that comes under Prakruti. Everything except the capital self, which is the world believes as I, is all Prakruti, and the self is separate from that. One does not know that. The poor self is not aware of that, and Prakruti, as a result, is independent and in effect, in discharge, and it is effective. But in causes, in formation and charge, it is dependent. It is not completely dependent, but there is a voting system. It's a parliamentary system. The self does not have anything to do with it. The soul does not have any. Questioner. The self does not have anything to do with this, and this is a parliamentary. In charging, the charging process, you see, in the effect Prakruti, there is absolutely independent, but in cause, it is effect. It is dependent. You see, and it will do its own. In the effect, it will do its own. But in the causes part, the Prakruti that is there, it has got there is the original self does not have to do anything. It is the belief Atma has got a vote. It is the belief soul that has got a vote. You see, on page 16, Prakruti. You see, the Prakruti enters into the one who believes that this is happening to me, enters into the ego of the Prakruti, enters into it by interfering and says, I am getting angry, you see. Questioner, if Prakriti is not completely independent, then what is it dependent on? No, even in effect, in discharge, it is independent. From birth till death, it is all an effect result. It is independent. Prakriti is independent in that. You do not have to do anything, Y capital. But you have some control in the causes that are being created within. You can make some change if you want to. Even there, you cannot make complete change. You can make some change that if you feel natural enmity towards someone, yeah, you can still decide within like what do you gain from such animosity. So you have that much right to make changes within. Change in the causes, not in the effect. Effect will come exactly as it is meant to. So then effect will come exactly as it is meant to. You see, when one goes to approve a wife in an arranged marriage, it is so beautiful. you know the worldly people, you see, if they, even if the karmic uh, path, you see, if people of the who have not received the Gnan Vidhi, if they understand this much, then you see, then if they keep their upadan awareness ready, then they will become free from all of this revenge and vengeance and fights that happen in close families, you see. And they can change, they can use that and change their sense of evidences of animosity, and they can withdraw from that, and they can change in the cause a little bit, so they cannot change the effect, but they can certainly improve the effect, you see, of the new Prakruti that is being bound. So even the people of the world who have not received the Gnanvidhi, this knowledge is very helpful. When accept the I-ness, accept the soul, and then there is a minus. The moment there is I-ness, and then there is a minus will arise. So I-ness, minus, I am this, I'm doing this, minus and minus is all the Hupanu means my I-ness. You see? And that is, and they're both depending this, you know. Sometimes Dada talks about Parsata, in this I'm doing it. Parkshetra is Hupanu. Parkshetra, false location means to believe I am this, that is I-ness, you see. And then Parsatta means doership. Marapanu means this minus. That is Mamata, that is minus, you see. And then Bhogavu, that Karta, Bhogavu means the sufferer. And Karta means the doer. So these are all part of the reactions at the time of charging of the Prakriti, you see. I am this, that is Hupanu minus. I am doing this, that is the Parkshetra in the false location, so the doership arises, you see, and then minus arises, and you see, and then but really, all of this for, I'm not the real doer, reality is my file, I'm not doing this, you see, relative is I have to settle the file in equanimity only. And so the Gnani Purush Dadashri shows us exactly how, in what way there is the obstruction in knowledge, what causes the obstruction in terms of the Prakruti and the binding of the Prakruti. You see. But even if you may have 100,000 knots around you, if you cut the main knot of this, then you become free. Now, this is the next paragraph. When one goes to approve a wife in an arranged marriage, it is the Prakruti that does the approval, and he claims, I approved her, I chose her. Then he comes home and tells her, I did not realize that you were like this. You turned out to be bad. Hey, Moa, you mortal one, she has turned out to be bad. You are the one who is awkward. How can one understand these puzzles? One keeps getting entangled all day long. You chose her, that you depended upon your intentions that were discharging in the last life, from the last life. Selection of wife, you see. He says, I chose the wife, but actually it is Prakruti is choosing Prakruti only, you see, and then disadjustments happen between the two Prakrutis. That is all. And if you ask her, where is the justice in this? What will she say? You see, he goes into one-sided justice only. She too herself will have her own views, will she not? This is all, whatever is being experienced through the five senses, that is all Prakruti only. It is all the non-self complex, you see, which is the peripheral body complex and the residual wrong belief that it is happening to me. I am this, this is mine, you see. You see, he says, son, today, that means this is extremely helpful to see her as flawless, even if she is behaving the way she is. She is not at fault at all. She is pure. She's exactly flawless there at that level right now. So now, Prakriti is not to be changed. Change its cause. Questioner, but it is said in the Gita that the main nature of the Prakriti is to go verily towards illusory attachment, toward Maya. And now, how is it possible to go against it? That is, to go towards the self as capital. Just as the intrinsic nature of the water is to flow down and the intrinsic nature of the fire is to go up, it is difficult to take it up against its nature. Similarly, how difficult is it to take Prakriti towards the self, towards as capital? How difficult is it? Dadashri says it is a mistake to take Prakriti against its mistake, against its nature. It is not to be taken against its nature. It is not to be trained. It is within its own realm and authority, Satta. That Satta is an effect, is a result. Prakriti Satta is a result laden. That effect cannot be changed, can it? Causes are to be changed, but instead people try to change the Prakriti, the result. But we just need to remove this much mistake and we are free, you see. This is the misunderstanding, that is all. We need to change the causes of the Prakriti. In ignorance, when there is a mistake, when you tell a lie, and then you need to, he says, okay, I will tell the truth. But in Akram Vignan, we are totally separated from any sense of doership, that you are not the doer and therefore new karma will not be formed at all. And you need to come. How can it? You need to become we need to become the soul only. The people of Prakriti remain the Prakriti Mai only. They remain. Where the people of the world, I told a lie, that is very wrong. I did something wrong. This is very sinful. That is bad, and they continue to try to remove it. But if they do it with understanding, they will understand that the real Purusharth is also present in the Purusharth of illusion, in the relative level also, and they can change their causes behind it, and thus they can improve it. You see, so they have the authority to change their causes in the relative, in the Gramic path, you see. But for the Akram path, they have already become the pure soul, and therefore they are removed from the causes completely. Heading: on what basis can Purusharth happen? Questioner: so then, does Prakriti do all this, or does all this happen within the Prakriti? Dadashri says, all this is Prakruti only. One should first know what Prakruti is. There are the mangoes on a tree. It is the tree making. Is the tree making the mangoes, or are the mangoes happening? Questioner: it is happening. Now, that is how this Prakriti is. The result of an exam effect is Prakriti, and when the causes that arise is an illusory attachment, Purusharth only, Brahman Purusharth. Whatever is one's Gnan, so is his Purusharth. You see, your Purusharth or progress in this universe, it depending upon your own Gnan, GNAN, you see, on your knowledge. So even in illusion, you can do Purushartha also. And small g, notice the small g Gnan over here, you see. Now, so depending on your Gnan, the Prakruti will be bound and it will give its effect. And so depending on the Gnan, it will give its result. And when the answers come, then when the result comes, it is exact Prakruti. There is a convention. Sat Gnan, S capital, G capital, which is absolute knowledge, is called God. Whatever fraction of that God is within him, that much is his Purusharth, P capital. One does things based on that Gnan. When he repents after having cursed someone, does he do that through the Gnan or does he do it through Agnan? Agnan, questioner. Through Gnan, Dada. Dadashri said that is the power of Gnan. So there is Purusharth there. Whatever part helps the part of the Gnan, that is all Purusharth. The rest is Prakruti. Visarjan or dissolution is under the control of Prakruti. This is the most, it's a bhavo. The Gnan, Agnan complex within is the bhavo, and then the Prakruti is just the you know, and to the extent where you can change your Gnan, your knowledge, that is the Purusharth, you see, bhavo. And then so the one who has the wrong understanding, he says, I have to scold him. And then he says, no, I wish I didn't have to. So there is the external activity, there is a kriya that is not changed, but his underlying opinions are changed in it. And no, I don't want to hurt anyone. The first sentence of the Pratavidhi, you see, and you know, and the second sentence of the Pratavidhi, that's more important. I do not want to hurt anyone through the slightest exchange, and that is a part of the Prakruti only. And so as we change the component of knowledge, then that comes under the Purusharth only, the P capital. So if somebody, you know, this is a very beautiful question from Dada. If somebody, you know, if supposing in discharge you curse somebody, then is there not some remorse only, and that is his higher level of development, because, but you know, we have this awareness. Yes, you know, those, if and those who do not have the knowledge of the self, they do the relative Purusharth, but we have the real Gnan, we have the five Agna Gnan, and therefore this is our real Purusharth. That is the Purush of the Purusharth of the Purush, or the P capital, the self, you see. Now, questioner. Gnan complex, which is the bhavo. And there is a discharge growth. You see, there is discharge. You see, the self is interfering in the discharge effects. You see, so there is, he has got the knot of anger, knot of sexuality, lot of pride, knot of greed, etc. That unfolds. You see, we can change it as a Mahatma. And the unchangeable is Prakruti, and the changeable is called the Gnan. You see, the unchangeable is Prakruti. And so automatically the Mangardas may change on its own. Mangardas means the peripheral, it really does not change at all. That is a physical body complex, does not change. You see, the bitterness of the tree will not change, of the bitter neem tree. However, the intensity of its bitterness may decrease, that's all. This is Mangardas. The bhava progressively disappears. You see, progressively disappears as one rises from 300 to 360 degrees. That's all. You see, and Dadashri says, initially I was aware that my speech was harsh and hurtful to others. But then, you see, as it proceeded, then by the time he came to 356 onwards, then he was not hurting anyone. And then he says, and you know, now even if there is disturbance of the pride, it doesn't disturb me, says Dada. Questioner, through Gnan, the cause and effect, and one does base things, and one does. So then there is so through Gnan, that is, it's from 300 to 359 degrees. There is Gnan of the self, you see. And it helps you go forward on the path of moksha, you see, and on the akram vignan. But for the people of the world, whatever knowledge they have, that is they create karma on the basis of the next, for the next life. That is the power of Gnan. So there is Purusharth there. Whatever wherever part helps the part of the Gnan, that is all Purusha. The rest is called Prakruti. Visarjan is in the control of the Prakruti. Sarjan, creation, is under the control of, is according to Gnan, small Gnan, and Visarjan is in the hands of Prakruti. No one has to say anything in Visarjan. When the Prakriti is unfolding, the bhavo, the self, the siddhis, the bhavo becomes tanmayakari, become absorbed in it. Prakriti is really under the influence of scientific circumstantial evidences. The bhavo does not have to become tanmayakari in that which is happening. This is the ultimate answer, really. And so that if the bhavo can become separate from the Prakriti, and then he can do his own Purusharth. But if he enters the Prakriti, becomes Prakruti, then he has interfered, and therefore he takes the beating of the Prakriti. But in Akram Vignan, and you can say that it is the one who's interfering is also part of the discharge process. But we consider it as a weakness in our awareness, you see, and therefore then there will be the exact Prakriti that will discharging on its own. It is the ego and the intellect are actually interfering, and therefore it kind of gets dragged. And once the dukkha happens, the interference happens, then one enters, gets dragged into Parsata. It is like being swept into the whirlpool of the Prakriti. But if one cannot become Tanmayakar in that which is unfolding in the Prakriti, but Prajna at that time will warn you from inside that why do you want to get into that? Why do you want to become Tanmayakar, or why do you want to get engrossed in it? It is happening, that is all. If there is total lack of awareness, he will not even know that this happened, but 2 hours later he'll know a little bit. In ignorant, it depends upon his upadani when he is in ignorance. Depending on his upadan, which is a spiritual development, he may be aware of it right now. But we have the Anubhav Lakshan and Jagruti. We have the experience 2%, awareness 15%, and the 100% conviction. And so there is a to and fro shift in the awareness and because of that there may be penance or there may not be penance at all. But if something wrong has happened, one can therefore enters into pratikraman. That is how it is. So there are some pratikramans that happen, but more beyond the pratikraman, it is the opportunity to enter into the penance. Then you are really entering into exactness of becoming free from the Prakriti and becoming loose from the sticky Prakriti. So therefore, then the Prakriti and the effects of the Prakriti may be such that it might not hurt you at all, or it may not have much of an effect on you at all. And because you have now had the rising energy of the awareness and the experience, and also through the penance that has been successful within you, and therefore, and if somebody accuses you, or somebody that, oh, you spoiled this work, or you spoiled this work, you did not conduct this properly, you did not conduct it properly, you are being very willful, etc. When people accuse you of this, at that time, the vibrations of anger will not arise within you at all, and you will be able to see that this is the discharging Prakriti complex, and you are not, and so you will enter into progressive stages of experience of the soul, you see, because therefore now you will be increasing in your awareness through the 5 agnas only. So you inside, you are absolutely separate from it. You see, you've been under any effects of any fear of insults. You are not in the fear of insult. You are not in the fear of respect. You are not under the effects of insults or criticisms, or you are not under the effects of anything that is happening to the Prakriti. You are not under the forces of the Prakriti anymore. So it is only your knowledge that is making you rise into the steps of the Prakriti, away from Prakriti. So it is very important to listen to Prajna. You have to sit in the Prajna, and the one with the ignorance, the bhava that is ignorant, you have to convert the ignorant bhava into the Gnani bhava. That is all that is happening as the true Purusharth of the awakened ones of Akram Vignan. You see, the thought, speech, and actions, they are actually the discharging in the Prakriti only. The thought, speech, and actions are the Prakriti belongs to the ego. The Prakriti is of the ego, the discharging ego. It is not of yours. The real ego has been killed, and therefore you have now the pure soul only. So With the wrong belief, he used to go in the wrong direction. With the right belief, he will go in the right direction. That is all. We should not go into the wrong at all. Just go in the right only. Suppose if somebody says the English is good, it touches the ego, it touches the ignorant bhava. It does not. So now you used to be the Agnani, now you are becoming the Gnani only. Supposing before Gnan there was the external. Supposing the external was at 200 degrees, and after we got the Gnan, we are at 300 degrees. So his upadhan is of 200 degrees only, right? And that belongs to that one. He becomes separate from Mangadas. Mangadas has 200 degrees of knowledge before the Gnan. And then, but he now, the Bhava becomes 300 because the 300. Yeah, now the Gnani Bhava in Gnan has 300 degrees. And the external will continue to discharge, you see, from 200. And sometimes, some Prakrutis, lose their control, you see. That means he is a 200-degree Prakriti, you see. But he says, I lost it. I lost my coal and I exploded. Well, he is such a Prakriti that he has got about 200 degrees only. But all of a sudden he has become a Gnani Bhavo, not a Gnani Bhavo at 300 degrees. And then now he starts rising from 300 to 359 degrees as a Gnani Bhavo. Now, say we are listening to all of this now, and we know that this is 100% correct. But the part that is, you see, but there is a lot of difference. Like I said, then he'll say, oh, I ate a lot of bhajiyas in Mishra, you see, Mishra. No, this is the Prakruti that is eating the bhajiyas, you see, but and then I had very nice tea upstairs, I enjoyed it very much. And we just have to settle that Prakruti. Yeah, the 202 degrees is actually, the 202 degrees is just at this, it is, Dadashri says we were 284 in the last life. And in 1958, I went to 345. In 1987, he said, and in 2 degrees increase. So from 356, we went to 358, you see. And the 285 one will, supposing I ate a hot chili, the mind is a result of today's mind is a result of past lives, like cause, you see. And therefore the mind, body and speech are effective, and it is coming out, you see. Therefore we need to understand that this is not today's. We need to understand that it is not something new. If we don't have to do anything, just see the Prakruti, and to the extent that the Prakruti ends up hurting someone, that you have to make him do pratikraman. That is all you need to do. Cause, effect, nature of Prakruti is the heading on page 77. Questioner, are we born with some kind of Prakruti, certain kind of Prakruti we have brought with us when we were born? Dadashri says, you have brought forth Prakruti for sure from the past life. The self is with the Prakruti, that is all. But you have brought forth Prakruti with you. That which brings you in this life is Prakruti, and that which leaves is also Prakruti. Everything is Prakruti indeed. What was Prakruti bound? When was it bound? Karan, causal Prakriti was bound in one's past life, and a Karya, effect Prakriti is formed from the same Karan Prakriti in this life. Effect Karya Prakriti means a fruit-giving Prakriti, and causal Prakriti means that it is not yet ready to give its fruit. Now, causal Karan Prakriti will arise from this effect Prakriti. The ego is awkward, and therefore it keeps giving rise to new causal Prakriti. This is the essence of the science of karma, you see, and the ego means the wrong belief, you see, and it carries forward because it carries forward as a new ego. Even it is, while it is suffering, the effect Prakriti interferes by saying, this is happening to me, I am this is happening to me, and this is mine, and therefore, so the seed, from the seed gets a fruit, and then again every fruit has a seed, and again there is a new tree from it. Oh no, what do we do when the fruit arises? We say I am not this. You see, when you say I am not this, and when you say I am not this, you see, that means new seed is not falling. You see, I am pure soul, I am pure soul. No matter whether you get praised or criticized, whether get any kind of disease, whatever happens to this Prakruti, you should have the perfect underlying understanding, the vision that I am not this, this is not happening to me, I'm not doing anything in all of this, whether the world accepts it or not, this I'm not doing. That is called absolute vision. You see, when that ego, when the ego becomes straight from the crooked ego, and then it becomes absolutely shuddha, that means it becomes pure, then you don't have to be concerned, because then you become absolutely separate. Many times we understand we don't want to interfere, then we experience that. We do feel that we have escaped the beatings of the beatings of the Vyavasthit because we did not interfere. But we feel, yes. But then the result is that we feel that we missed all the beatings of the Vyavasthit. If we remain as the self, you see, as capital, then we are not interfering at all, then automatically very beautiful Vyavasthit happens. And so, yes, therefore, take the experience and then become wise. But we see, we because of the lalach and moha, the intense greed for pleasure, and ajagruti and lalach are the through such things. Ajagruti and lalach are such that they make you miss everything, you see. Then they make you miss, and then it becomes a hurt. So ajagruti and lalach make you interfere, you see, in the prakruti, in the discharge. Ajagruti, we know, lack of awareness. Lalach means intense greed to experience pleasure only. Intense greed to get pleasure from any source, whatever it is. Yeah. For a long time, I was not aware that I was interfering my discharge, but 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 you just showed it through now, and you see. But for you, how did it happen? I said I used to make Deepak understand. Deepak was my first disciple. I used to talk to Deepak. I used to tell him, yes, where do you set your awareness in all of this? I do not want to interfere. Or no, no. I employ my awareness of how to share Aptavani 13 in the best possible way with the Mahatmas of this world, you see. I know I want to, and also how should what kind of samayik should be there and arrange all of this. Okay. Do you, if there's such experts are working, then do I need to do anything? Very beautifully, it is all, there are all kinds of nimitz that are doing everything for this. All nimitz are there for all the work of Akram Vignan. It's already happening. So therefore, the work is happening. So do I need to interfere at all in the work of Akram Vignan? Everything is automatically arranged, is it not? Yes, sir, everything, wherever you go, everything is happening so beautifully. we have we have received the knowledge of 360 degrees, but we cannot digest it, you see. But by what level is our prajna being unveiled, you see? That is why the very agnas that I am in, says Gnani Purush Dadashri, that is the very agnas that I'm giving to you, you see. And you will be able, and if you really finish your world interaction with your mother, father, friends, colleagues, and anyone, through the five agnas, then it'll be very beautifully settled. You see, the Prakruti will be beautifully settled. You don't have to do anything else. And this is the very Gnan that he himself used as Gnani Purush Dadashri, the Gnan of the five Agnas. And then it will come absolute knowledge, and then it will come to everybody. Your prajna that has been unveiled, is that Gnan or is it Gnan? What is your Gnan? What is Gnan? Gnan. Prajna is the ultimate thing. Prajna is the direct light of the self only, but in Prakruti, but because the Agnani Bhava is prevalent in the Prakruti, then by the more the ignorant beliefs in discharge go away, the more you attend these satsangs, which is part of the five Agna, you see. And so therefore, the prajna has limited stock, you see, and the more you become free from these heavy faults of the Prakruti, then then the prajna will be in much more force. Your in the prajna of the Gnani is prajna of Gnani Purush Dadashri is like Niagara Falls, and your prajna is like taking a shower under a trickling amount of water only, you see. And so, you see, whatever is your experience as a soul, that is much amount of the prajna is there. That is the answer. How much prajna do you have, Deepak Bhai? He says, it is the depending on the experience of the soul only. The experience means the exact separation. The more you separate, the more there will be the force of the prajna. That is all. Don't you think the prajna is there? Whether you listen to the prajna or not, that is another matter. She says, no, but it's there, right? Prajna is light, you see. It is, yes. You see, but prajna is there, that is only one hole that has opened up. And if there are 100 holes, there will be more lights of prajna coming up. You see, so prajna is a ray of light of the soul that is coming out through more and more veils being removed. When the right belief is the direct avarant, you see. And when as the ego intellect complex interference stops, you see, then the light of the prajna will arise, says Gnani, it says Deepak Bhai. However, you see, the intellect will have 50 evidences in what way where the other person is false, whereas as the prajna dominates, then it will show that no, regardless, even the other person maybe have 100 faults, he is flawless. You see, so the prajna is the one that really prajna increases and decreases, he says. And he says prajna decreases. That is a new thing he has just said. But anyway, it keeps on increasing. I'm not sure. This is a kind of question only for Shuddha only. Prajna decreasing. We will leave it at that right now and move forward. No. Prajna is there, but it is the force of the undischarging karma that kind of clouds the prajna, is the words of Gnani Purush Dadashri. By the way, Deepak Bhai, now let's continue back to Deepak Bhai. The Prakruti is there, and along with it is the anger, pride, deceit, and greed is there. But against all of that, there is the exact prajna of the self and the reckless knowledge of the self through the 5 agnas. And the more you settle that Prakruti with the exact agnas of the Dadashri, then no matter what is there out there on the other side, it will not have any effect on you. You see, the conversing with Deepak is there. You can prajna. Why are you? The prajna takes you to moksha. Prajna takes you to liberation. You see, prajna makes you come into the play of the self. Swaramanta, self play. S capital SELF play. No, but Dada. Now, questioner. Now, causal Prakruti will arise from this effect. Now, one comes into the inner Prakruti. When one comes into this inner Prakruti from the moment of birth, and then the outer Prakruti unfolds after this, yes. There is causal Prakruti and effect Prakruti, then internal Prakruti and external Prakruti, and then causal Prakruti. The causal Prakriti is the causal Prakritis, and then the effect Prakriti. Now, when it comes, then it is effect Prakriti is two. That is, it is the subtle Prakriti and the gross Prakriti. Antarita, internal Prakriti and external Prakriti. It is part of the effect only. You see, both the external Prakriti, that can be seen through the 5 senses. You see, oh, I want to eat only 1 cheesecake, but I had 3 cheesecakes. You see. That is it is because it exists in the subatomic particles of that exists at the subtle level, and therefore he overeats, you see. And this is the antarik Prakriti, the internal Prakriti, yes, he brings, and the external. So the original film has been filmed in the last life, and of course what you see on the screen, it is the external. But what has been printed on the film, on the movie, that is in there, and therefore it is projected externally. So subtle Prakriti at the subtle level is now projected on the screen at the outer level, you see. And so then it is Bahya Prakriti. So this is the questioner. Yes, Dadashri says, yes, he brings internal Prakriti with him, which gives rise to the outer Prakriti. Questioner, but Dada, is there any relationship between the formation of the external Prakriti and the internal Prakriti he brings within him? Dadashri says, if one knows how to discover that, one can become a Gnani like me. If you can, this is very, very important. You can, supposing somebody insulted me at that time, oh, this is my, I can see that my internal subatomic particles were actually asking for the insult, and that is why that person insulted me. If Karela Shak, the bitter gourd, so the vegetable comes in front of my plate, my inner elements were asking for it. You see the subatomic particles, and that is why the Karela Shak, the vegetable, appeared on my plate. And so therefore the external limit is not at all at fault at all. And this discovery in every matter makes you one like a Gnani, like a Gnani Purush Dadashri. You see, why did the person why did the thorn hit my leg? Why did I get involved in an accident? Why did I get betrayed by somebody? Why did somebody cheat on me, etc.? All of these are all the results of subtle particles that are existing within you in the subtle Prakruti, and they pull the external Prakruti out, and the result, and then they manifest externally through the mind, speech, and body, and the five senses. It is all there, both discharge karma. The subtle Prakruti and the gross Prakruti, the Dravya karma as well as the no karma, are both part of the discharge karma. Dravya karma is the film, you see, the black and white film or the color film that is playing in front of the projector, you see. Also it's so exact that if it's the fourth toe that is going to get stubbed, then it is the fourth toe that will get injured, you see. But if it is not in the movie at all, then even if a stone falls near it, it will avoid falling on your foot, you see. So you will become so it was because it was in our dravya karma. That is why the dravya karma is on the basis of causes, you see. Your the dravya karma is the subtle discharge karma, you see. Subtle discharge karma is divided into 8 components, 4 that can be destroyed in Gnan and 4 that cannot be destroyed in Gnan. The 4 that cannot be destroyed in Gnan obviously are the body, mind, form karma, the name karma, the status karma, name status karma, and then the pleasure pain karma, shata ashata, and the lifespan karma. That cannot be destroyed, you see. Oh, ghati karma it is called. It cannot be destroyed. And anger, pride, deceit karma, they are called the ghati karma. That can be destroyed, you see. Anger, pride, deceit, and greed can be destroyed, you see. That is the ghati karma. That can be destroyed. They can be destroyed through the right vision, right knowledge, and the right energy, and through the bliss of the self, you see. Mm-hmm. You said that my own subatomic particles are asked, why is there dvesh arising? Because the current ego does not like the Karela Shak. But if he understands that this is an account of the karma, if you don't like it, don't eat it. But don't create kach kach. Kach kach means bicker. Don't bicker with your wife about it, or the maid who prepared your food. Don't bicker with her. This is rag dvesh happens through further ignorance. You see, you should be the gnani bhava, not the ignorant bhava. There is a ignorant bhava still existing within you that enters into further ignorance in that which is already happening. You see, after you have stood up from the dinner table, then you know how much you have eaten, how much you have less. Ragdvesh is not part of Prakruti. It is your own misunderstanding. That is your residual in. That is, this is this. The third Prakruti, the third gross Prakruti does not have Ragdvesh. It's the ego that is doing the Ragdvesh. Further entry into the Prakruti that is unfolding. That is what is causing further Ragdvesh. And the external Prakriti is visible through the five senses, but then we understand because it is inside that it comes outside. And through awareness, we will be able to see this thing. Dada was able to see the internal Prakriti through his vision. So there is no Dada could tell that if he was going to enter into an accident, he would have the echo also. When Dadashri says that I thought something was going to happen to me in 1950, but that was his internal vision towards the internal Prakriti. Yes, but we do not understand. We do not. You see, so but we instead of really observing the Prakriti, we just kind of stuff the Prakriti without the awareness. When we eat with awareness, we see everything with awareness. Then, let us see what came in front of Shuddha, what came in front of Deepak, what came in front of Eunice, what came in front of Uva. You see, and what came in front of Nada. Who is getting the thought of a cheesecake? or why is what is happening, what is all, then you will be aware that this is why do you want to see it? And if I can see, then I can see it inside. Now you understand. You need to know that whatever it is was inside is coming out. You don't need to understand. You just need to understand that what was inside is going to come out. The one who does not misuse it, the one who does not interfere with the Prakruti, he will know everything that is going in the Prakruti. But the one who does interfere with the Prakruti, then he will have increasing veils over his prajna. He will have increasing veils over his prajna. Niruma, you see, Niruma used to say, someone said that you will make a 250,000, a crore. And Niruma used to say that if you just take it easy, you will get crore. Niruma had the vision and the view at that time. You see, so that means you have to now. Niruma told Sanjay that for 8 years you will have to enter into penance, and therefore you were in 8 years of penance. So many people have got this experience. You see, this is. So the Niruma had the internal vision. She had the Niravaran vision. Of course, Dada also was able to tell of the next life also. He stopped you talking about the next life only. But otherwise, Dada would never talk about the next life at all. He used to sometimes talk about the next life also. But then because people took it in the wrong way, therefore the Dada stopped talking about the next life. You see, because the soul has got the energies. I used to work as a common engineer, and I used to take a tiffin and go to work, you see. But I had no awareness. But then I started seeing inside. Then I says, "Wow, the whole thing has come in front of me as Deepak." Dada must have seen on that day that. So that is why Dada gave Deepak the siddhi, then through the guardianship of Niruma to take care of Deepak. You see. And it came naturally. It just came naturally. He does not. He's not the doer in all of this. You see. He's not the doer. But you should not. You should not have this danat, this desire to kind of look into that to know about this. Like you. I want to know the self only, and I want. Do you want to know the interior of the Prakriti, or do you want to really know the glorious self that you are? You see, explore and move in the energy of the knowing and the experience of the glorious self that you are as capital, and to the absolute self that you are, rather than trying to understand what is happening in the Prakriti at the subtle level. It is immaterial, so don't try to. What are you going to do? And the most important thing is that I do not need to interfere at all. That is all. So that knowledge will go away. Therefore, no such knowledge that you will come into your mood self. You see, the original self. What are you going to do with that which is continuously changing? You see, so you do not experience the element, rather than to to understand in detail the avastha and the situation. For just kind of Purusharth means who am I and who is doing it. The more you understand, you will really go higher and higher. You see, who am I and who is doing all of this? Who am I and who is doing all of this? That is all. There is so much. The more you understand who is the doer, the more you understand who is the doer, the more you will rise higher in your awareness, you see, in your awareness of who you are. And the more you will rise higher in your experience of who you are, you see. And so therefore, when you understand the last vyavasthit, then you will be in absolute knowledge. Until then, that is blocking your vyavasthit. When you understand who am I, then you will become the absolute Gurutam, absolute self within. Is it going like this? I'm not going as fast as you are going. That's just to Alpesh, you see. Yeah. You see, I'm proceeding like a tortoise. You might be running around like a hare, you see. The greatest thing, this Parayan is such a magnificent thing that you have to read it for sure. You have to, when the subject has been placed, then you have to go deeper into it. And there are so many ways that are removed in that. And because of this, and this is on the basis of the nimit of the Parayan that we are entering into the detailed studies of these magnificent words of Gnani Purush Dadashri that liberate us exactly. I have to read them, and you have also to read. Yeah, I have to read it. And that means you have to study it, right? This is amazing discovery of nature only. And Mahatmas are automatically also getting into the Purusharth. You see, it is mandatory for you to read this, it is mandatory for you to study it, it is mandatory for you to really enter it. And then Sirish Bhai asked me something, so then I need to kind of ask this, you see. Somebody asks some question, therefore I have to go, and in the night I do some studying, you see. And then I discover it inside in what the Dada Vani is talking about. And in so many ways the Dadashri says it. So it's missing, you see. And so somewhere between, yes. So and Niruma says that without the presence of a light one, you will not, the living one, you will not understand it. In whatever life, whoever is the living one, you need to go there and you need to understand it in precision. You will need to have the pratyaksh. Do not try to understand it on your own, because you will not. You never know how your intellect will kind of take it. That is why સજીવન મૂર્તિના લક્ષ વગર જે કંઈ પણ કરવામાં આવે છે એ જીવને બંધન છે. That means you have to have the exact awareness, and you have to be there in the light, in the presence of the living Gnani, who can exactly share with you the words of the original Akram Vignani, that who presented this. Whatever your experience, he can, and you can, we have to say, oh Dada, whatever you are experiencing, let that happen within me, and therefore give me that understanding only. Whatever you are experiencing of the soul, oh Dada, grant me the grace so that I too can understand that, therefore I can move forward in that Purusharth only, you see. And this speech is the only basis by which we can proceed further. Yes, we have the Gnanvidhi, we have the awakened awareness of the Prajna, you see, and then we have the right vision, and we have the Samyak Buddhi, the intellect also is moved in the right direction. But this is all, but our bhavana and our intention and our deepest prayer to Dada is that we want to understand it in precision, therefore, so we can experience it exactly as he is experiencing it. And then the biggest thing is that somewhere or the other we get the exact link, so that we get the exact correct answers of Dada. To make there are 10,000 people who are sitting here, and to make them understand this without any kind of controversy arising, and everybody rising on the flow and the grace of Dada, that is indeed the grace of Dada only and nothing else. And everybody gets the exact result depending upon his own sieve, SIEVE, his ability to filter through, and his ability to visualize it, darshan shakti, and ability to grasp it, darshan shakti. And that is, Niruma is present and Dada is present, and the grace is flowing towards every one of us in exactness now. Let us continue. And there is the Prakruti on the inside, and therefore it is, yes, Dadashri says, yes, the external is encountered only because of the presence of the internal Prakruti, page 79, and but otherwise it will not come together externally. Otherwise there is no such rule that you will come across the external. This is very subtle talk. Questioner: new karma that happen, do they happen only due to the external Prakruti? The other, she says, new karma that happen are based on the ego and the current understanding and knowledge. One can bind positive as well as negative karma. This is, everything is so precision. In 2 sentences, he opens up the exact incontrovertible principle. You see, new karma that happen are based on the ego and the current understanding and knowledge. That is all. One can bind positive as well as negative karma, and Prakruti keeps one in such circumstances. You see, this is so beautiful. This answer at the bottom of page 79 of the Prakruti PDF. It is your own understanding and your own knowledge, and that is where the ego is operational, because ego believes I am this is mine and I'm doing it, and therefore it binds new karma. You see, that is new karma that happens. So all of this for one's own understanding, Vibrant Purusharth and Brant Purusharth, and the Shuddha Gnan and Shuddha Darshan, pure knowledge, pure vision, liberates you from all of this. That is all. Next, now he's reading further. No one has such understanding at all. One thinks that everything he encounters is all come from the external only. Amen. One can bind positive as well as negative karma, and Prakruti keeps on one in such circumstances. You see, no one has such understanding at all. You see, one thinks that everything he encounters, it has all come from the external only, but that is not how it is. You know, if we have low level gnan, then we bind negative karma. If we have high level gnan, at the relative level, we bind good karma. You see, but then we have to suffer our circumstances in that in this. Our knowledge is what kind of uh, uh, binds new Prakruti only, see, and our knowledge is what binds this. You know, right? Our knowledge, if we are doing wrong, then that is, then there is Ashuddha Gnan, absolutely impure knowledge. Then there is Shubh, that is all helpful, hurtful and helpful Gnan, Shubh, Ashubh. And then there is Shuddha Gnan, that is a pure Gnan, which is the light of the self. That the original self is actually just as the light only and as the absolute light only. And then, and in that, and then the knowledge of the awakened one is rising from 300 degrees to 359, 360 degrees. And wherever there is the experience that this is wrong, then that is wrong, it should not happen, then it rises in 1 degrees. But if he says, I like it, let it be so, then he gets stuck in there and remains pending there. You see. Then in the Prakruti, yes, and then he takes more beatings, and then he kind of moves away from this. So it is the Gnan only that is helping him only. It is the Gnan and understanding that is helping him from 300 to 360 degrees, namely the Mahatma. And you see the Prakriti, and then he has to go continue to suffer that. He has to. Now let us stop now here. We are now taking a break here. We're taking a break here because this is, and we're taking a break on page 80. This is the morning session of September. Um, correction, this is the evening session of September 12th that we have entered into in the Prakruti as we take a break now. All right? No, no. Now this is, they're giving a little break. Now the Dada Bhagwan Foundation is giving this called A Connect, A capital Connect, A Connect, A Connect app, AKONNECT, A Connect app, and it will give you all the various things that are happening to the. It will give you the Energizer, local satsang center updates, announcements also will be there. It is called A Connect app. Let us find out how we can use A capital K capital Connect app. After you install it, then you can have to register. After installing A, register through email. And if you do not email, then you can also register through your cell phone also. And so this is then enter and have once having, and then you will get the messages on the emails through A Connect app, and the verification will come. Once you get the verification code, then means it's verified as a Mahatma. And then if you're in the E group, you see, then in the then you name country and state, city, etc., and sub centers will happen, and then you can enter all of those. Suppose, and you can even edit all of those if you do not want to. If you're not in the E group, then you can enter the personal data or in A Connect, select location India, and center. You see, and then there is a profile activation. So this gets more and more technical. All of this over there, A Connect app, and you can edit your profile on your cell phone and go deeper into this thing. And through this app, in the inbox, you will get all the activities that are happening through the Dada Bhagwan Foundation. And you can audio, video, and photographs, etc. And you can share this. All of this will be there. And you will be able to kind of, you can share these apps with anybody everywhere. So this is how. And through the light button, you can also have light also. That means you will have light, you see. You can have light in your cell phone when you put the light button. And so this, in order to, you can send an email to aconnect, AKONNEC connect at dadabhagwan.org, and then you can get all the details about it. So you can get the registration process by mail. Please now don't wait, just go ahead and go connect with aconnect.org, aconnect.com, Akram Connect. Aconnect means Akram Connect app. Jai Sachidanand. And so now this is announcements of how to get the Connect app. Okay, so we're going to take a little break here now.